Hello students, welcome you all to Sunya IAS. Welcome back to Top 50 Rapid Current Affairs. Starting from the month of May, the current affairs, how it had been evolving during the course of examination, you can see that the weightage of current affairs had been increasing. And to understand the peripheral issues, contextual issues of the current affairs news items, relating them very well to the static portion is also important. For that, this series, Top 50 Rapid Current Affairs of each month, we had been running. The module is like this, that each month from 1 to 5 we discuss 1 month's current affair, then 11 to 15 we discuss 1 month's current affair, and 21 to 25 we discuss 1 month's current affair. The breakage of topics on each day is, for example, we are going to start the current affairs of the month of February. 1st April, economic development. 2nd April, polity, governance and international relations. 3rd April, environment and ecology. 4th April, science and technology. 5th April, reports, indices, defense, miscellaneous topics like government schemes will be discussed. So how do you approach the current affairs? From the various random sources you would have studied the current affairs. What are the important topics from where the UPSC is asking questions? Particularly the previous year questions that are the beckoning light of UPSC. So उन हाई यील्डिंग टॉपिक्स को अगर हम अच्छे से पढ़ के रखेंगे तो हमें क्वेश्चंस किस तरीके से सॉल्व करना है वो भी अच्छे से समझ में आएगा एग्जामिनेशन में. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड फॉर दैट यू कैन ज्वाइन द प्रीलिम्स करंट अफेयर्स क्रैश कोर्स that is already available online at www.sunyias.com. The offline course first batch started from 19th March. Second batch offline started from 1st April. And third batch is being launched on the 8th April. Offline batch is available only at the Delhi center. In the classroom, in the 15 to 16 classes, we will cover the whole of the current affairs following the 80-20 Pareto's principle. Here what we will do, into the classroom itself we will solve the PYQs. All the subjects are classified, super organized, and after that in the classroom you will solve these questions with me. We will understand the context, the peripheral issues of the topics, why it is in the news, how it is interlinked across the subjects. One current affairs item is interlinked across the different subjects as well. For example, cryptocurrencies. Cryptos are in the news. It's a technology, science and tech portion, but it has direct linkage with the economic development, CBDC, central banking, digital currencies. Now, these two things have a direct interrelation with the international relations. Project Mariana. Okay, Bank of International Settlements has done that. So this is how you should be understanding all the issues correctly. Synthesis paper in the summit of G20 released by the International Monetary IMF as well as the Financial Stability Board FSB. तो इस तरीके से हम सारी चीजें समझते हैं along with the focus on the PYQs. After the end of the class, what you will get is 10 questions self-assessment. In the classroom, we'll solve the 10 questions. 10 questions are presented to you. After the reading of all the topics, you will solve these questions. And then you will understand that what role does the knowledge plays you. And the questions will be designed in such a manner that the knack is nurtured inside you to solve the MCQs very well. So let's start further ado. First topic is marginal cost of funds based on lending rate, MCLR rate. Lending of the banks, you understand, banks do certain banking activities. CASA accounts are there, okay, current accounts, savings accounts are there, and they do lending activities. Credit card is a form of lending. So while the bank lend, certain interest rates are maintained. And how do these interest rates are regulated by the RBI? Previously what happens that banks, when they use this lending activity, the interest rates were governed by base rate since 2010. In 2016, April 2016, basically RBI introduced MCLR. MCLR is linked with the repo rate. ठीक है, ये रेपो रेट से लिंक्ड है MCLR. अब रेपो रेट से लिंक होने की वजह से क्या बेनिफिट मिलता है, दैट whatever changes, you can see the rate cut, repo rate cut by the RBI, different basis points rate cut is there, that will be reflected into the interest rates by the banks while lending. समझ रहे हो, बैंक में भी वो रिफ्लेक्ट होगा. Therefore, it is not based on the total funds, but on marginal lending, incremental lending. Therefore, this word is called as marginal cost of funds based on the lending rate. Here, you understand 50 basis points or 25 basis points rate cut by RBI. This whole process of relation with the RBI rates and bank rates, bank interest rates basically, this is, and then they are percolated to the customers like you and me. This process is called as monetary policy transmission. India has huge problem in the tapering of the monetary policy transmission. ये जो पॉलिसी ट्रांसमिशन ऊपर से आरबीआई चेंजेस लाती है वो बैंक के थ्रू कस्टमर्स तक परकुलेट नहीं हो पाते हैं. This is called as tapering. RBI changes certain policies so that it wants that into the economy these things are reflected. For that, MCLR does help into it. Getting this point? Okay. And one more crucial point, that MCLR is linked to the bank rate, whereas base rate was not linked with the repo rate. This is calculated. MCLR is basically calculated keeping the four components. Four components क्या क्या हैं that you can easily understand. मार्जिनल कॉस्ट ऑफ फंड, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज यही है, मार्जिनल कॉस्ट ऑफ फंड, कितना हम इंक्रीमेंटल लेंडिंग कर रहे हैं. निगेटिव कैरी ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ द कैश रिजर्व रेशियो, निगेटिव कैरी ऑन अकाउंट कितना है. ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट ऑफ द बैंक एंड द टेनर ऑफ द प्रीमियम, फॉर हाउ लॉन्ग द प्रीमियम इज गिवन टू द बैंक. अंडर दिस MCLR regime, one more point, MCLR is calculated internally by the bank, given by the formula of the RBI. It is calculated internally, not by the RBI, internally calculated. Okay, under the MCLR regime, banks are free to offer all categories of loans. You may get a sweeping statement into the examination that they can offer only a particular category of the loans. All categories of the loans at fixed or floating interest rates, both fixed or floating interest rates they can offer. The actual lending of the rates for loans of the different categories and tenors are determined by adding the components of the MCLR. वो different component calculate करते हैं MCLR के help से. Getting this point, I hope it is clear. It is determined internally by the bank depending on the period for which the repayment of loan has to be done, and it helps in monetary policy transmission. Card on file tokenization. We know that financial frauds are rampant. Right now, the data shows that it is increasing exponentially. With the India being the flag bearer of the digital India, this card on file tokenization is a step in that direction, where your bank card details, CVV number, will be only with you while doing the transaction. They will not be shared at the point of sale machine. But with your consent, this card on file tokenization will be done. So this is what? Replacement of actual credit or debit card details with an alternative code called as token. This token does not have any intrinsic value. जैसे हम assets की बात करते हैं, NFTs, they have some value, intrinsic value. Whatever thing has been put into the NFTs have some intrinsic value. It may be related to certain art. So this token without this transaction does not have any value. The card details where the card stored with a merchant is known as card on file tokenization. Let's understand the process. How does it start? You start to purchase with a merchant. हम किसी शॉप में गए, हमने वहाँ पे ट्रांजैक्शन करने की कोशिश की, तो दिस इज कॉल्ड पॉइंट ऑफ सेल इक्विपमेंट. यहाँ पे द मर्चेंट इनिशिएट्स द टोकनाइजेशन बाय आस्किंग यू फॉर द कंसेंट टू टोकनाइज द कार्ड. That your actual card details will not be shared for validating the transaction, but it will be tokenized. And once you give the consent, it sends tokenization to request the card network. Card network क्या होता है? Understand important. यहाँ पे बैंक नहीं है card network. Visa card. So Visa is the card network. Rupee card. Rupee is the card network, not the banks. So once you give the consent, it sends tokenization request to the card network. and the card network creates a token. The token is generated, the token is shared, and you will approve the token, and hence the merchant saves this token for subsequent transaction. This token will be saved for subsequent. At the same point of sale, if you are going to have more number of transactions, in that case what will happen, that this particular token will work. Re-tokenization is not required, but if your card is being utilized for a different merchant, then every time new merchant is there, naya token number generate hoga, new tokenization has to be done. For making payment to a different merchant or from a different card, tokenization to be done again. You get the point? It is basically a random number generated which will be called token for a particular transaction without sharing the actual card details. Okay, this is card on file tokenization. Next topic is Unified Payment Interface, UPI. Students, UPI has revolutionized India. You would have seen right now कि अभी हम UPI के जो financial inclusion में हमें benefits मिले हैं, it is enormous. So what has happened that what has UPI? Two-factor authentication. UPSC already asked PYQ on that, two-factor, three-factor authentication on it. UPI accounts for over 50% of India's digital transactions. And what revolution this particularly UPI brought, that from one wallet to another wallet, the payment can be streamlined. For example, Paytm, PhonePe. Previously, we used to carry different wallets. For example, PhonePe to PhonePe only transaction could have been done. So here UPI, any wallet can be connected with the UPI. In the recent past, India had made UPI payment deal with France, UAE and Sri Lanka. ये याद रख लेना है, UAE, Sri Lanka and France. This is important for us. So UPI and Aadhaar basically. इससे हमें गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स में बहुत सारी बेनिफिशियरीज में मिडिल मैन को एलिमिनेट करने का मौका मिला. फॉर एग्जांपल मनरेगा कुड बी वन स्कीम फॉर दैट मैटर. ओके, सो डीबीटी, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर, और आधार जैम ट्रिनिटी, जनधन, आधार एंड मोबाइल linkage. So these things were possible, and this has been revolutionized by UPI over here. Aquaculture in India. Now here you will find the government is giving a boost towards aquaculture. Coastal Aquaculture Authority has been created. Coastal Aquaculture Authority. In 2023, this body has been created, and it will have more precedence in comparison to Coastal Regulation Zones, CRZ. So CRZ notifies certain ecologically sensitive areas into the Gazette, where different kinds of developmental activities are regulated. Hatcheries, fisheries, different kinds of works we have to do. In that case, Coastal Aquaculture Authority gives the permission, and it will have precedent over CRZ. So previously different authorities, state governments, union government were looking at these kind of things. Now this has been thoroughly streamlined with the CAA, and that has also given impetus to the ease of living and ease of doing business, particularly for the coastal communities like the Koli community of the Mumbai. Already they are suffering from the changes into the environmental climate change, marine heat waves. So this is one aspect of it into the governance. Here you will find that aquaculture, what is the stats? What does the stats speak about it? World's second largest aquaculture nation, India. We have a huge coastline of more than 7,500 kilometers. India's fourth largest fish exporting countries. Here you will understand basically these things are linked to the policy developmental aspects. Like logistics policy, there we need to reduce the logistics cost. Cold value chain. Okay. So यहाँ पे cold value chains हमें ज़रूरत है to export more fishes. Farmed shrimp accounts for 70% of India's seafood export. That can be boosted as well. Farmed shrimp. 75% of fish production by inland fisheries. You getting the point? अभी हम coastal को हम develop करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. But inland fisheries, it's a counterintuitive fact for most of the students. Basically from the lakes, from the wells, from the rivers, inland fisheries से हम 75% production कर रहे हैं. Okay, more than two-thirds actually. India has recently overtaken China to become the world's largest contributor to inland capture water fisheries, thereby emerging as one of the top 3 fish producing countries in the entire world. So from here we can expect a question that what steps we are doing. You can expect a question from Coastal Aquaculture Authority as well. India's third largest fish producer right now, overtaking China after the China itself. Spatial economic zones. See students, spatial economic zone here is a model where manufacturing and export can be boosted a lot. Let's understand. India is poised to become $5 trillion economy. $5 trillion economy. Our service sector is already booming. It is doing appreciable growth over here. But what about the manufacturing sector? Manufacturing sector, we have different policies at the place to push the manufacturing sector. For that, one of the major policies was there through the SEZ Act 2005. It talks about creating certain pockets, certain enclaves of land. Okay, so these enclaves have different regulations. They may be treated as foreign territory, not just the territory of India. Certain tax rebates could be given to them. They may be oriented towards one particular product. Okay, so this is SEZ Act. Now here, certain changes, we need to revamp this sector to bring in more and more FDI, foreign direct investments into India, FDI. Right now, most of the SEZ in India are from the central and state government owned, state owned. Basically, the objective of SEZ, Special Economic Zones, was to bring more foreign direct investments or private players setting up more and more industries. India, amongst the Asian nations, realized this model earlier even. Okay, we understood that the China has also done like that, and India should be utilizing this kind of SEZ model. First Special Economic Zone was established in 1965 in Kandla, Gujarat. Okay, various other countries are following that suit. You can find here, okay, China, India, Jordan, Poland, Kazakhstan, Philippines, Russia. They also have different kinds of special economic zones. To revamp that, what is in the news, it has been in the news from the good amount of time, that is Desh Bill, that is Development of Enterprise. Development of Enterprise and Services Hubs. That is Desh. So you may get that development of enterprise and service hubs. It is in connotation with respect to the SEZ model. Here what will happen, for example, coastal economic zones. On one hand, we are making coastal economic zones. Food and textile parks. Bulk drug parks for the manufacturing of APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. Government of India has launched that also, so that we have to get away from the import of the Chinese APIs. So in this way, we have to go from a particular sector, one sector specific special economic zones we have to create. They will enormously boost in employment generation, attracting the foreign capital, okay, earn forex, and bring more stability towards Indian economy, specifically into the manufacturing sector. That is the basic of special economic zones. Right now in India, we have like more than 275, 276 special economic zones, but we want more and more private collaboration into it. So thank you guys. Keep revising the top 50 rapid current affairs. You can join the crash course and utilize optimally the 60 days time that you have right now. And you can watch all the videos of the TFR on a little bit more speed so that you can revise the important topics. Thank you.